Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video was inspired by those nights or those days where you want to go hang out with friends. Maybe you want to look polished but not like you tried too hard, so maybe you'll be wearing a sweatshirt, your hair's up in a top knot, and you want your makeup to just kind of look fresh and clean and really pretty and approachable. So this was inspired by those kinds of situations. That maybe your crush will be there and you just want to look like the best version of yourself without going too over the top, without wearing a bold lip and like false lashes or something a little too bold for those types of occasions. So I wanted to create something that is super duper wearable, super easy to achieve, and I also used all affordable products. So this is a look that I'll be teaching you guys how to create today. Before we get into the tutorial, as always, please make sure to join the family by hitting the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed and you want to be notified each time I post a video, make sure you click on the little bell, and that'll just mean you'll be notified each time I post. So if you guys want to see how I got this makeup look, then just keep watching. So I filled in my brows off camera. I did my drugstore brow routine, at least the first two steps. I used the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill Pencil, and then I carved it out using the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Concealer. So that's all I have on my face right now. I'm actually going to be doing the complexion first because our eye look is so easy. There won't be any fallout, so I'll just do my face first. So I'm going to make a little foundation cocktail. I'm going to be mixing shades 112 and 120 in my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. This is my go-to drugstore foundation. I just know it's going to wear well, it's going to look flawless, and I can always count on it. But I thought I would kind of spice it up a little bit and mix in the Magic Lumi Primer from L'Oreal. This will just add a little bit of a luminosity. You could technically put it on beforehand, but I'm just going to mix it in just for fun and just to make it feel fancy. So I'm going to get an even amount of foundation on the back of my hand. And then I put one big pump of the Lumi Primer. And I'm just going to mix this all together on the back of my hand. I'm going to start with just a light layer. I guess I should mention as well, I did have a moisturizer on underneath. Just use whatever moisturizer you use every day. And I'm going to start out with a brush and just start to work this into the skin. And then I'm just taking my Real Technique sponge and kind of blending that out. And I'm just going to be working in really thin layers because for an effortless look, you do want to have enough coverage if you have blemishes, but you only want to focus more coverage on the areas that need more. So I start out with a thin layer because like areas like here and down the center of my forehead, they won't need as much like foundation. And then I'll just kind of add a little bit more on the outer parts of my face. And then again, I'm just going to take my Real Technique sponge and press that into the skin. And then also don't forget to take it down the neck. I'm going to take the foundation that is left on the back of my hand, and I'm going to actually dab it on the eyelid to make sure that this area is also even in skin tone. So next I'm going to be taking my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. I'm just going to be using the shade Light today. And the reason why I chose to use Light, I also usually use Fair, but I'm choosing to use Light underneath my eyes because to make it look a little more effortless, I want a little bit more of like a natural looking highlight and contour. So I'm choosing something that's a little bit closer to my skin tone so it looks more natural. And then I'm just going to take that same Real Technique sponge and just blend out all the concealer. I'm going to go ahead and set the concealer with the NYX HD Finishing Powder. I love this stuff. I'm actually going to be taking that same Real Technique sponge and dipping it directly into the pan. And I'm going to kind of bake the under eye area with this. And it will just help really smooth out the under eye area and brighten it as well because it is that banana color. I'm also going to take this down the center of the face because that's where I typically tend to get oily. So I want to set the concealer down the center of the face as well so I don't have to worry about that. I'm taking a little bit of a bigger brush and I'm going to kind of set the rest of the face with that same powder, just with a little bit of a lighter hand. And also make sure to dust away any excess baking powder that we had. And I'm also going to want to set the eyelid to prep that for eyeshadow. So I want to make sure there's nothing in the crease. And then I'm just taking that same banana powder all over the lid. So next we're going to bronze up the skin with my favorite Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I can't find the brush I normally use, so I'm going to use this brush from Benefit. And I really just want to kind of blend this out over the perimeters of the face for kind of a light contour, but since we want this to look more effortless, I'm not going to do, too sculpted of a cheek or anything like that. I just really want it to be more rounded and diffused, just like you have a natural tan. Nothing too obvious. Take the extras around the jawline though to help define that, and then the extras down the neck as well. I have these fabulous blemishes right on my cheek. That's like the worst spot for a blemish because it's like you can't miss it. Next, I'm going to take a tapered blending brush, just dipping it right into that bronzer. And we are just going to define the crease ever so slightly with this bronzer. I'm just using the same bronzer for like defining the contours of the face. So I'm going to take it in here and then I'm going to blend the rest down the side of the nose. Just so it all looks cohesive. I always like to put it under my nose as well. I'm also going to take that same bronzer and just define the under eye area a little bit. I've got so much foundation on my lips. I'm just going to wipe it off. And I'm going to put a little lip balm on. So let's move into the eyes before we finish up the face. I'm going to go into the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Truth first. I'm just going to be applying this with my ring finger. It's such a subtle color, so I'm just going to lightly sweep it all over the lid up to the crease. So next, to add that little extra something, you could skip this if you don't want any sparkle, but I'm going to add the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Crimper. This is so pretty. I'm just going to apply that with my finger as well. But this time I'm going to kind of just pat it over top of that previous shadow. And I'm focusing most of the glitter towards the lash line, but I'm also kind of putting it up toward the brow bone a little bit. I don't know, just for a little extra something. Next, I'm going to line the top lash line with a brown eyeliner. This one is from Burt's Bees. It's called Warm Brown. I'm just going to scribble this in between the lashes and then just use my finger to kind of blend it out so it's really soft. And I'm not doing a wing or anything. You totally could if you wanted. I'm just blending it out on the edge. So there's like a subtle little wing, but it's nothing obvious. I'm going back into the bronzer. I'm just going to slightly deepen the crease a little bit, especially towards the outside. And then I also want a little bit more on the lower lash line because I think I'm just going to keep the shimmer on the top lid so it looks really effortless. So now let's pop on mascara. This is where I want the lashes to be like kapow, so do a couple coats. Just use your favorite mascara. I'm going to be going into the L'Oreal Voluminous Million Lashes Carbon Black Mascara. I love this stuff. And I'm going to really make sure to hit the root. I like to wiggle the wand a little bit. That just really helps coat the entire lash and it helps separate them. So for blush, I'm going to be hopping into this shade right here from Makeup Geek. It's called Blind Date. It's just the prettiest light pink. And I'm just going to lightly press that on the cheeks. So I'm going to attempt to change this blemish into a little freckle. Did that make it look worse? It might have. Or does it look like a freckle? I think it made it look worse. So we'll go over it with a little concealer and some powder again. So for a highlighter, of course, for an effortless highlighter, I love the Essence Pure Nude highlight. It's just so subtle. It really melts into the skin and doesn't look like too much. So I'm just going to apply that to all the high points of the face, down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow, a little on the chin, and then a little right above the brows. And then you guys know how much I love to highlight the inner corner of the eye, so I'm just going to take that same highlight and pop it right in the inner corner. Then I'm going to take what's left and put it right under the brow bone. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more warmth to the skin. I'm going to go in with my Milani Baked Bronzer. This just adds like a hint more warmth than the Physicians Formula one, and it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. But if you use it really lightly, it's not too much at all. It just looks like your skin. So I'm just going to lightly dust this where I dusted the bronzer. I'm going to take a tiny bit and kind of just pat it across the nose, since the sun does naturally hit the nose a little bit. So before I do lips and brows, I'm going to set the face using the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. This will just really help make the makeup last, as well as get rid of some of the powderiness going on. And if you do have some baby hairs on your face that kind of stick up after you spray setting spray, really lightly take the sponge that you used and just kind of press those down. So for brows, this is technically not like an affordable item, but it kind of is, so I'm including it anyways because I really think it would go well with this look. I'm going to be using the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Blonde. Again, I love this. I just barely mentioned it in my favorites video, but I'm just going to sweep this through the brows. I want the brows to look effortless as well. So I'm going to really comb that through, and then I'm going to make sure to brush up these inner hairs to make it look even more effortless. So for lips, I wanted to give you guys a couple options. It honestly just depends on what you'll be doing for the night. If you're going to be going out to eat or like going to the movies and having snacks or something like that, you're not going to want to wear like a liquid lipstick or anything that could potentially break down with any oily foods. Otherwise, it'll look like you tried too hard and people will really obviously notice your lipstick breaking down. So something that I would do is just use a lip liner. This one's from L'Oreal. It is the Color Riche Matte lip liner in the shade 112 Mastermind. I already have lip balm on my lips, so I would just use this to kind of lightly color in the lips as well as line them, obviously. And then just kind of blend it in with my lip balm. That way your lips have a little bit of color, but it's not going to wear off weird. And then you can just bring your lip balm with you to just keep your lips nice and hydrated, even though the color may wear off. So that is one option. If you're just gonna be hanging out or just shopping or something like that, you can put on a matte liquid lipstick. This is one of my favorite liquid lipsticks from ColourPop. It's their Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Midi, and it is so pretty. So I'm just going to apply this right on top of the lip liner. And I'm using my finger to press the lipstick in with the liner. So then at the end, I just like to kind of add more highlight if I want to, just kind of assess the whole situation, see if anything needs fixing. So there you have it. This is my finished makeup look. I hope you guys like it. This is honestly exactly something that I would wear if I were to hang out with friends or back in the day when I had a crush around or something like that, or I guess when I want to impress my husband subtly, you know? This is such a good everyday makeup look that doesn't look too harsh and it's super wearable, so I hope you guys liked it. As always, please give this video a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, let me know, and also leave a comment down below. I love reading through your comments. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye!